Welcome back to another edition of the Nick Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again is my co-host, Richie O'Leary. And we're going to discuss today the latest commitment in the Scarlet Knights football recruiting class in the transfer portal. Drake University's former linebacker, Sean Allison. He's a guy that we talked about as soon as they landed Joe Woodley. Like, this is the guy to keep an eye on. This is their best player. He was the Pioneer League Defensive Player of the Year this past season, first team all-conference, and FCS All-American. He is coming in with 1 year of eligibility. He's listed at 6 foot, 235 pounds, so a little bit undersized, but very productive. I believe this past season he led the team with 126 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions. He was an award finalist for the Buck Buchanan Award, which goes to the best defensive player in the FCS. This guy was kind of a do-it-all guy for the Drake Bulldogs and will certainly play a role in terms of, at the very least, leadership and a depth piece, but I think he's got the upside to be a pretty decent starter for the Scarlet Knights. Rich, talk about how this kind of came together and what Rutgers is getting in Sean Allison.
Well, you know what? I think you forgot to mention our sponsor, FanDuel.
We did, yeah. We don't do these every other day. We get a little frizzly with that kind of stuff. But I do want to thank FanDuel, like Richie said. No bets on the horizon for me. But I want to thank FanDuel once again for supporting us. And if you have any bets that you want to talk about, Rich, feel free to.
Well, kind of a bet, but it already kind of happened too. I like to say this. I thank you, FanDuel, for depositing maybe, I think it was $75 in my account yesterday. So thank you.
Nice.
Threw a little $10 bet on my Red Bulls on Julian Hall, the superstar 17-year-old, to get the first goal scored in the Red Bull game. And he was the only goal scored in the Red Bull game. So it worked out. Quick 10 for 75. So you got to love that. But I'm just saying, man, bet on the Red Bulls. I got to rep my team today. We are very good. Well, I shouldn't say we're very good. We're fun to watch. We have a 16-year-old that's crushing it, a 17-year-old that's our leading goal scorer. Other 17-year-old is our leading assist guy. Like, we are it's a Red Bull podcast now.
So. Shout out to Red Bulls. 2-0 start to the season. Richie, a season ticket holder there. We'll be having a lot of fun down there.
USA midfielder Michael Bradley took over the team. So it's fun year. Just saying. If you want to throw some money out on something, throw it on the Red Bulls, baby. But yeah, Sean Allison, man, huge get. I hate the fact that they keep doing this whole like, hey, let's get them at midnight type things. Like, it's crazy. So timing wise, I hate it. In terms of production and play style, I love it because linebacker has been a big question mark. I think his size might be a little bit questionable still because 6 foot does concern me a little bit, and that's listed 6 foot. Is he actually 6 foot? You put it on his tape, and it's like, all right, maybe he's a little bit smaller than that, it looks like. But, I mean, just a true, football player. Kind of reminds me of, I want to say Chris Conti type tape in high school where he was, a little bit undersized, but he was stocky for that undersized and was able to just run all around the field. Now, I'm also saying Chris Conti because I believe Chris Conti had the same number too, which is just kind of throwing me completely off. Similar size, and Chris Conti was pretty good at Rice afterwards too. But yeah, I mean, he's all over the field. He's just very good football instincts. Kind of, you can see him just diagnose that one, and then that's actually a really good pick too. Wow, damn. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just an interesting depth piece at the very least. If he could be, I don't think he's a starting caliber guy in the Big Ten. I don't think he has the size and speed to be a Big Ten full on starter. But if he can give you 15, maybe 20 snaps a game, that's really all you need. Especially with a linebacker unit that's kind of questionable because you really don't know what Ty Morris is. I don't think he jumps off the tape that much either. Add in the fact that you have Mo Walker and Abram Wright both coming off season-ending injuries. And I think Walker did pretty good last year until that season-ending injury happened. So we really don't know what they're going to be because it's 2 years now in a row, or Mo Walker got hurt 2 out of the last 3 seasons, I think it was. And then Abram Wright got hurt the last 2 seasons. So it's how much can you really count on these guys at this point? So I think adding another linebacker, another depth piece like this is just huge. And he's familiar with the defense. He's familiar with Joe Woodley. He's familiar with Adam Cox. It's a guy that you can just kind of insert into that room. And if Moses Walker, I keep saying Mo Walker because Mo Toure and everything just throws me off. But if you throw him in that room with like guys like Walker, with Abram Wright, with even some of the younger guys like McClary, Kamar, Archie, and they're kind of not understanding what Johansson's trying to preach and trying to do scheme wise, this is a guy that could be like, yo, okay, I did this like the past couple of years with or I did this last year with Woodley at Drake. This is what he wants you to do. If you do it this way instead of this way, it'll work better for you. So I think having that kind of leadership will also help massively.
Yeah, and Joe Woodley talked specifically about that. He did a weekly podcast with a podcast called Media Row with Justin Miller, and he sung Sean Allison's praises multiple times. We're going to play a clip in a minute here where Joe Woodley spent about 10 minutes, about 5 minutes talking just about how much Sean Allison meant to the team, because Joe Woodley was only at Drake for 1 year. He was at Grandview for something like 17 years. Was the head coach of Drake for 1 season, and he won the Pioneer League in his first year as head coach. They made the FCS playoffs, but Sean Allison had his best season as a college player under Joe Woodley. And we kind of, talked about how important it's going to be to have guys who have been in the system, because Johansson and Woodley run very similar defensive schemes. They were together for, a decade or more coaching together at Grandview. Johansson was Woodley's defensive coordinator at Grandview at one point. So, these guys are very, very, very close. So the more players that you can add who have been in the system, who can kind of hit the ground running, the better, be coaches on the field. And he specifically talked about that in his interview. But before we play that interview, now that we've landed a player from South Dakota, a player from Drake, do you see anybody else on the horizon that Rutgers might end up targeting or might end up landing, or do you think this might be it for the additions from South Dakota and for Drake?
Apologies, because you probably just watched me clean my entire desk because I just spilt my water all over my keyboard.
Oh no!
yeah. So that's gonna be a problem for later, Richie. That guy's screwed, but whatever. No, I think they're done with Drake in South Dakota. I believe South Dakota, actually, their window already closed technically. So I don't see them pursuing any others. I know after talking to some people, like even Drake, like it was just Sean Allison was the only one that was kind of like on their radar. The rest are like, there's a decent receiver. I think his name's something January. I think it was his last name. And I didn't think he was that bad, but like, do you really want to add someone that's like a mid receiver at Drake? Like, I think he put up 500 yards at Drake. Do you think he'll be a difference maker compared to, say, like Ben Black, Fama Toure, even the youngsters that are going to play a lot, like Jordan Houston, who I've raved about for years now, Vernon Allen? Like, do you want to stunt their growth a little bit? Probably not. I even think the linebackers, like, again, I think Sean Allison was necessary, but you also don't want to keep adding pieces and stunt the growth of some young guys. Like DJ McClary is going to be very good. It's just a matter of time. Even like cornerback, safety. Like, they're not going to add a safety. That's probably the one group they probably should have went and had it. But that's fine. It is what it is at this point. But no, I don't think they're going to land another Drake or just Drake, because, like I said, South Dakota's transfer portal window is done. So
let's play that clip of Joe Woodley talking about Sean Allison and how important he was to just his ability to kind of hit the ground running as a coach. He was he talks about him being a captain on the team. He's part of their leadership council. So I'm going to play that now. Just put your thumbs up, Rich, if you can hear it, because we've never played just audio only.
You talk about, you don't have to blitz, or not have to, but you don't blitz as much. It's not part of your system on the defensive end. It is pretty nice when you have a captain like Sean Allison, who you can really do anything with. I feel like wherever that ball is, he pops up as one of the members on that Bulldog defense. But he has 2 interceptions. I know we've talked about him being one of the first guys you talked to when you took this job, but just how important is it to have a guy like Sean Allison on your team?
He's an extension of this coaching staff. He's a captain for a reason. He's on our leadership council for a reason. He's got a voice. The players listen to him. And they listen to him because of the way he just goes about everything. It's your best football players need to be playing their best football this time of year. And man, he has kept the foot on the accelerator all season long. He's played his best in every game, and highly, highly productive. And Saturday was just really one of those, just one of those days for him. He about had a third interception too.
Yeah.
Two really huge interceptions for us. One I wish we would have taken advantage of a little bit more, but the first one he had, kept points off the board for them and kept them from getting any kind of lead in the game. Because they hit a big run and and then they're kind of down there in the red zone, and he just makes a heck of a play just because he knows what he's doing. He's locked into his job at all times, and he's just playing at a really, really high level right now. And like I said, that's just who he is. He doesn't know how to turn it off. He just plays extremely hard on every single play. And again, I know I've said it time and time again on this deal, but can't say enough positive things about him because he's like that in practice. He's everything he does. He's maximizing his God-given ability. I mean, he's really reaching the max of that. And when you got guys doing it, and we've got a number of guys that are in that boat as well. And but he's on another level right now. Just real thankful for him. Being a first year head coach at a place like this, it's nice to have a guy like that. That's right by your side, and he's just being really, really productive right now.
As a fan and as someone covering this team too, I feel like he just adds a sense of calmness, even, in crucial moments. Like on that first drive is a perfect example. Dayton's marching up the field, looks like they're about punching a score, and he comes up with a big play. I assume it's the same for the coaching staff, where just the defensive unit as a whole, but especially Sean Allison, just you're always confident, always have this calm presence around if he's on the floor or on the field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Sean's just he just kind of embodies the what you want. What I want this program to look and feel like moving forward is he's kind of the face of that right now. Just physical, intense, competitive, high standards. That's kind of what what we're striving to get with everybody. And when guys see him and they guys feed off that energy, it's contagious and you can feel it. It goes from the defense to the offense and special teams. And he's just can't say enough about him. Just real thankful he's on our side. And there's no doubt, Justin, when he's out there, you feel pretty good about the defense and what's about to happen.
So that was Joe Woodley, the new Rush Ends coach, former Drake head coach, talking about his captain, Sean Allison, kind of what he meant to the team. And to give some context, they're talking after they played after they played Dayton this past season, where he had 12 tackles. He had 2 interceptions in that game. So both interceptions that Sean Allison had this season came against the same team, against Dayton on the road in a conference game late in the season where they picked up a crucial win to help them secure the Pioneer League championship. But I see a bunch of comments in chat, so I wanted to hit on some of these. Rich, if you had something first.
Yeah, I just wanted to talking about the Sean Allison still. And he mentioned it, he's probably going to be used a lot on special teams, if I had to guess. I think that's going to be very helpful. If you look at last year's special teams unit, there was just ran through on the injury report every single week. So it was just like freshmen that shouldn't probably be out there. And it caused a lot of mishaps. Look back at the Iowa game, it's the opening kickoff. And but if you go back to the injury report beforehand, you see I think it was Dino, Calic Manis, Chris Joins. I forget who else. It was a bunch of they're veteran guys. They've had multiple years in college football. But when you switch those guys out with freshmen, and then it just causes chaos, right? Whether it's a penalty on a kickoff or whether it's just giving up big plays like that. And not necessarily always a touchdown, obviously, but even big chunk plays on kick returns that obviously Rutgers doesn't take advantage of. But yeah. So I think he'll be definitely a contributor there. In terms of instant starter, going hand in hand with this question, I don't see it personally. I still think Ty Morris is guaranteed to start one of those spots. I shouldn't say guaranteed. He's more than likely going to start one of those spots. I think that other spot's probably Moses Walker or Abram Wright, depending on whoever's healthier, I guess, or whoever's better. Probably Walker is the favorite, I would say. And I know a lot of people probably cringe a little bit when they hear Moses Walker is starting again. It's almost like Emmanuel Agbole starting at center again. But
Yeah.
at least I think Moses in the first couple games last season showed some progress. So I do think if he can continue to progress, and that was under some, as we know, pretty bad coaching. So if he can continue to progress under a new coaching staff, he's got all the athletic traits in the world to be a damn good linebacker. He's just got to put it together mentally and just kind of just reactions and all this. And like, you have to have just the instincts to play linebacker.
Yeah.
If you don't have the instincts, you're kind of screwed.
I don't think that's something you can like teach somebody though. Either you
know.
have instincts or you don't. And that's what I like about Sean Allison, you know, just from the limited tape I've seen on him. I mean, he definitely is. I mean, he looks short on film against FCS teams. So, I mean, you can imagine how short he's going to look at power 4 level. But I mean, I think there's just something to be said for like knowing where you're supposed to be at all times on the field, which it seems pretty clear he does. And he has those football instincts. Like maybe he's not like a guy who starts every game, but maybe he starts the season as a starter and he's able to help guys like DJ McClary and Kamar Archie along and is able to kind of coach them up. I think that's kind of half the value of adding a guy like Allison. Not only does he have a ton of experience, and I think he won't look totally lost out there. Like maybe he'll get beat in coverage. Maybe he won't be able to get to the edge when a play is stretched outside. But I don't think he's going to just like have these blatant like where he like fills the wrong hole constantly, like we've seen with linebacker play the last few years. I think he'll be in the position to make plays. Now, can he make those plays at the Big Ten level? I think that's yet to be seen. But let's see how this one progresses in spring and fall camp. I do think at the very least he is a high quality depth piece at linebacker, a core special teamer. And somebody compared him to like Austin Dean. He's way better than Austin Dean.
Yeah. Austin Dean wasn't even didn't play at 2 different schools. Well, back and forth, I mean, but whatever.
Yeah, he marfoed and didn't play when he came back. So I think that should kind of give you an idea. I think the floor, the floor and the ceiling are pretty close to each other with a guy like Sean Allison. But I do like the addition a lot because he's going to help be a continuation of the coaching staff on the field.
Yeah, I mean, if you just go like listening to that clip that we just played, it does sound like has the potential to be a future coach just based on he said leadership council. He's in the room teaching other guys. And you just don't see that very often, or well, you didn't see it among many of the linebackers last year, but you need some leadership on this team. And I think that's what's going to help a lot on this defense. And I think that's a guy that can just even like you said, off the field traits, like he's going to help a lot in terms of teaching these young guys and telling them what to do. And kind of relaying Joe Woodley, and I think Joe Woodley too. I don't think we talk about him enough. Like I do think he from what we were told is he's Travis Johansson's right-hand man. And I know he's technically the rush ends coach. I think he's going to play a role in just about every single position group on that defense. He'll be like almost like what Sean Allison is to the players. He'll be like that to almost every position group. Like I think he'll be he'll be working with the linebackers because he's worked with linebackers previously. I think he's the linebackers coach by trade, but he's also worked with DBs. So I feel like he's just going to kind of bounce around to each position group and kind of just relay Johansson's message over and over again. So also it's wild, like between the players they landed at South Dakota and Drake, that there's so much media coverage on these two programs. Like they get MAC transfers, and I can't even find a damn beat writer in the MAC, like just someone that covers the conference as a whole. And then like all of a sudden they go to South Dakota and Drake, and there's like interviews, there's videos. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is crazy.
Yeah, then I want to shout out Justin Miller again, because I mean he did a great job covering Drake, and I listened to a few of their podcasts because they played South Dakota twice this year, and he does this segment called Wednesdays with Woodley, and he talks about it, and definitely listen to those too, because Woodley talks about how close he is with Travis Johansson and talks about kind of where their philosophies overlap, and kind of just talks about, how good of a season that South Dakota had. And they played him at the beginning of the season and they played him in the playoffs. So he talks about how much they changed throughout the season as well, because a guy like LJ Phillips wasn't expected to be the superstar this season. It just kind of happened that way, similar to how the Kyle Monungai breakout happened, where he was a guy who was expected to be in the rotation, but injuries kind of thrust him into that 1A role. Same thing with like Antoine last year, and how they kind of exploded as the superstars. Rutgers Source 1 said he loves this pickup. He seems like he was super active on the field and did a little bit of everything. That's kind of the same read I got watching him on tape. I do think how he translates is going to be a big question mark, but I liked what I saw on tape. He's clearly a guy who knows what he's supposed to be doing on the field and gives a lot of effort. So,
yeah, again, big fan. I think it's only going to help this linebacker room that's struggled over the past couple seasons.
DeColdis Debrikovic on Twitter says Sean is a fucking dog. He's going to be your leading tackler. DeColdis, are you a Drake fan? If you wanted to hop on, feel free. I'm going to drop the link in here. If you have any more kind of info on what your experience watching Sean Allison was like, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll highlight it again. Let me share that link now in the chat.
I don't think
anyone wants to join, but
leading tackler, but I do think he's very talented. Like I think he's going to play some. Yeah, I don't know how many snaps per game or anything like that, but in terms of starting, I know like Ty Morris is coming in, like they're kind of expecting him to be a starter. Now, obviously, you don't know what these players are technically till you get them on the field practicing, which won't happen for another 3.5, 4 weeks now. So until then, we really don't know. I don't think he'll be a starter, but I do think he'll be probably the first rotational linebacker off the bench. And we know in the past they've rotated quite a bit, actually, surprisingly, out of all the position groups.
Rutgers 2015 says, if the linebackers struggle again this season, do you think they'll rotate guys in faster? I'm hoping a legitimate DC won't let that happen. I think yes, primarily because Travis Johansson is all about like not necessarily like finding what guys can't do, but finding what guys can do. So if we have certain guys who are really good in stopping the run and they're not great in pass coverage, like they'll rotate in on run calls, or plays that where they're calling a run blitz or something like that. And if guys are really good at playing zone coverage as a linebacker but not good at man, I think you'll see guys coming in for those situations. I think they're going to try and utilize guys to the best of their abilities wherever possible. So yeah, I think if guys struggle in certain situations, I don't think they'll be put into those situations.
That's my concern is in terms of coverage. Like who is going to be in coverage as a linebacker? Because like Abram Wright was decent at it. I think Moses Walker, again, has the athletic traits to be good at it. It's just he's got to put it together. Ty Morris, I think if I recall correctly, he wasn't that great at Rice in terms of coverage. I got to double check on that one.
I'll look up that now, but I think
I remember Chisholm, who they targeted, was like awful in coverage. I think he led up like 100% of like targets, like were turned into catches, and it was like Jesus.
So in coverage, he had a 67.8 grade. Ty Morris this past season.
It's like average, right? Like
year before that, 56.0.
Yeah, see, that's not good. That's below average. So yeah, and that's my big concern. And Sean Allison, like we just said, he had 2 interceptions this year, and you heard Woodley on the one podcast say that he almost had a third. So like, he probably should have had a third. Like, so maybe he is your coverage linebacker. Maybe he will play more than I think. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this one. It's the height thing that scares the hell out of me in the Big Ten, especially because, as we know, it's just massive linemen. It's massive all around the team. Honestly, everyone on a Big Ten squad is always just a massive human being.
Yep. Are you fan for life said, is he a scholarship player or one of those specially designated guys? I imagine he's a scholarship player. 100%. I don't think you're going to bring in a guy from the portal who's not. But Drake famously is a non-scholarship FCS team, and
Partridge.
Yeah, no, I guess we'll find out. But I can't imagine he's coming here without some kind of financial incentive.
Yeah, like you just said, Drake's a non-scholarship program, so I think that's also probably played a pretty big role in saying, "Hey, I don't have to pay for school anymore." Okay, great, I'm in. So yeah, I'd be shocked if he wasn't a scholarship player. But scholarships don't really matter anymore. It's just about being under that 105. So now they're very close to it based on our math. There's no official count technically because we don't know who's DSA and who's not, but you have to assume the walk-ons are. You have to assume maybe some specialists are designated special or student athletes. So until that goes away within the next 2 years, we're not really going to know what that number is. I think they're at 125 right now. But again, a lot of those walk-ons probably don't count. I'm sure there's a couple scholarship guys that probably don't count too. But that's the other thing. You could be DSA and still be a scholarship guy. It's just whenever that last June, I think it was, you had to designate them by then. If you didn't designate it by then it doesn't matter. They're not DSA. They count towards your 105.
Gotcha. Yeah, those new rules, like I can never follow it. Like every time I think I have a handle on who counts or who doesn't, like somebody gets at it. And Shiano famously is like one of the best in college football at kind of managing rosters and scholarships, and you always think like, oh, we don't have any more space in a class, and then Shiano finds a way to get 2 or 3 more guys in.
Shiano math.
Yeah,
it's like 1 + 2 = fish.
Exactly. Jason O asked, "Is McClary healthy?" I believe he is. Rich, do you?
Yeah,
I mean, he's unhealthy.
Now you got me going to send a text right after this. I mean, I swore he was healthy as of recently, but who knows? Maybe things changed. I mean, now that I think about it, like he wasn't in that any of those workout clips that they posted the other day. But there was only like a select few players. I think there was like maybe 10 players in it in total. But yeah, I mean, as far as I know, he's healthy. I'll have to do some double checking. Yeah, he's healthy. There you go, right there.
He also he's not the biggest guy either, but he is like incredibly fast.
Just on this photo,
linebacker
looks a lot bigger.
Yeah, I just mean height wise. I think he's like 6'1".
Oh yeah. He's not. And then you got Kamar Archie, who's just a physical freak. Like that kid.
Yeah, Kamar Archie looks like he's pulled out of the friggin' Untouchables or whatever that movie is. Not Untouchables. The what's the action movie with all the big action stars in it? It's like the great podcasting. I know.
Ocean's 11.
No. It's the one with like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone.
Come on, someone in the chat.
Yeah, somebody in the chat. I'm struggling here.
I can't think. That's a good question. I don't really know.
Expendables is what I'm thinking.
Expendables. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
He's huge.
Yeah, he's insane. I think the two of them are going to play a lot too this year. It's going to be a lot of rotating. If I had to assume, this linebacker unit, if they stink, it's just boop next. Come on. So,
Gracchus, appreciate you encouraging the group, but yeah, everybody hit that like button and subscribe. I know a lot of you who are listening are subscribers, but only about 50% of you are actually subscribed to the podcast channel and also the podcast on your favorite podcasting app. And I know this from the data we get. So if you are not already following us on both of those, you got to do it, man. It's a small little token of appreciation that helps the show a ton. So if you're not subscribed, do that after listening to this podcast.
Also, if you're not on the message boards, like, what are you doing? Like, it's $1 right now. Like, it's so simple. And like Sean Allison, like, I think we called it the minute they hired the Drake coach.
Yep, we were talking about him for a while, and some big news on the boards today about the new additions to the network. We're going to have wall-to-wall coverage from the national guys all the way down to our level. Talk a little bit about what fans could get signing up for the night report.
I mean, again, it's $1 to start. First off, you're getting all the inside intel from me, from Mike, from Alec, from our entire team, Hector, Ryan, Craig, etc. Wall-to-wall coverage on the transfer portal that's going to be opening up again for basketball very, very soon. We're already hinting at that. We are hearing some Rutgers basketball players are going to enter. We're hearing about like what kind of positions they're going to target, how much money they're going to have. On top of all that, we basically called almost half or more than half of the defensive coaching staff before it happened on the boards. Johansson, you heard it from us first. Dennis Dalton Carter, I think he was on my hot board back in December. Like I told you, he wanted the job.
Literally the same day. Yep.
Yeah. From the get-go, I said he wanted the job. He wants the job. He wants the job. And then eventually it ended up happening. Great addition there. I can't hype that one up enough. The Luke Carazola news that we just posted recently. Charlie Noonan moving to a new position group. Eric Finney we called from the get-go. The linebackers coach, obviously it's technically a still open role, but we have intel on that. Who else? I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much it. Like almost everyone that he's hired so far was also on our assistant coaching hot board that we posted after Johansson was hired. Because we said it. Johansson was going to have a lot of autonomy in terms of picking his own staff, and he did just that. In terms of recruiting intel, Chad Simmons, one of our national guys, just posted on our board about 20 minutes ago, actually. Rutgers is in the lead for a 4-star target. I'm not going to say who. I'm going to let you go click on that link and figure it out.
I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah. Well, I've mentioned him, this prospect to you a couple times. He's also called Rutgers his leader for like months now. He just hasn't popped yet. But so yeah, that's good that Rutgers is still in the lead there. Rutgers is doing really well with another. I'm gonna give it away at this point. It's another receiver. So Rutgers continues to do well with receivers. I have an RPM prediction in for one receiver. I'm gonna put in an RPM very soon for an offensive lineman, potentially Jim Turner's first edition. So keep an eye on that one. What else we got going on? Oh, the network, obviously. On3 is just a monster. It's like the Infinity Gauntlet with Thanos, but instead of 5 stones, there's about like 105 stones. And it just seems like every day they're adding someone new to the network. Like you get intel. So like I said, Chad Simmons is on our board all the time. Joe Tipton's throwing all hoops tidbits on our boards. Hayes Fawcett, et cetera, et cetera. Now we just added Alan True, who's the best of the best in the Midwest. In terms of Big Ten coverage out there. He's on the Big Ten network every couple months for recruiting intel. He's their go-to guy there. He is a dog when it comes to recruiting. I am very hyped about that one. Also added Brandon Huffman from the West Coast. Probably won't deal with him as much just because East Coast, West Coast, but who knows? Maybe Rutgers will expand their recruiting grounds a little more out there because they're just going everywhere now. They're in Texas, they're in the Carolinas, they're in Georgia. Just start throwing out West Coast offers too. Fuck it, right?
I still remember the first time Joe Tipton dropped by the board when we moved over to On3, and someone's like, "Wait, are you like the Joe Tipton?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's me." And Richie's like, "Yeah, if you tag him, he will answer your question." And sure enough, he has multiple times. So
yeah, the network itself is just, and this isn't me shitting on the previous network because I love those guys. They gave me my first start in the recruiting world, but it's just this network is insane. Of like you can tag anyone and everyone, they all answer. Like the intel we're getting, like it's so helpful to have like analysts that are like actually helping like and posting Rutgers stuff. And you see, there's like I know in the past, like there was always like a little bit of a hatred for some of the national analysts when it comes to recruiting because they always felt like Rutgers was getting shafted a little bit.
I mean, let's be fair. Like a guy like Mike Farrell was actively hating against Rutgers.
That one, yes, yeah, I'll agree with that one. And there were some others that like I had my own doubts at times, and I'm like, dude, like I threw Ian Strong highlights at you, and you still are like, nice 2-star, and I'm like, bro, watch them. Like he just dominated St. Joe's Regional. Like just at least give him a 3rd star, like at the very least, like. So I do think there was some bias there, but I do think it's changed completely based on the new team we have. Like Charles Power doing the rankings and a bunch of other guys like that. If you go look at the rankings, like New Jersey's got 5 top 250 or top 300 prospects. Like it's a lot for New Jersey. Like you don't really see that often. And now we're seeing like Rutgers is getting pretty damn good recruiting classes. Like that top 30 class this past cycle, that's one of their like top 3 or 4 ever. Like I don't think there's enough hype about this class either. Like I think this class is like a very, very talented recruiting class for Rutgers, and it shows now that they have some money to work with. Look what they're able to do. So we'll have to just wait and see. But I think this just has the potential to be a pretty good year for Rutgers football.
Absolutely. Rutgers 2015 asked, with the first Big Ten game being in week 3 of the season, likely the blackout, do you think the defense will have enough time to gel and not completely shit the bed? Well, USC plays a style of football that is like the antithesis of what Rutgers does well on defense historically. So I think having USC this early in the season is really brutal to kind of like in my opinion, it's your first true test because I don't think Boston College is going to be that good this year. But that's going to be a lot of fun to go up to Chestnut Hill. I think that's going to be a big Rutgers crowd up in Boston. And you play UMass, who went 0-12 last year, obviously. But it's going to be a huge test for sure. I don't know if that's going to be like if they don't play well against USC, who has a Heisman candidate quarterback who might be a first rounder in Jordan Mailata. They have a ton of talent. They were one of the biggest spenders in the portal this past year. They got the number 1 kid in the country who is a New Jersey guy, and Luke Wafel.
Oh my God, yeah, like absolutely. So we got to talk about Luke Wafel, man. Like he's like scary.
As they say, he's a problem. So I don't know. I think, and I don't know that that's kind of locked down as the blackout game either. I know historically the last few years it's been the Big Ten opener. And the Big Ten opener has been in September the last 2 years against Washington and against Iowa. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't say it'd be like a waste of a blackout, but I think you want a more winnable game to be your blackout game.
That's fair. I think when we did the predictions, I think Alex said that this would be the blackout game. I actually think you did too. And I look back at it.
I think I did, but the more I've thought about it, the more I'm kind of wavering on that. I think if you had to like gun to the head, it's probably it. But I just wish there was an easier game. Like I wish
Michigan didn't hire Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, if Sharon Moore, if I don't want to get too down the if timeline here, but yeah, it's probably going to be it. You've talked me back into it. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I like that Michigan game just for the sole fact it's Halloween. You can get the blackout, get the whole like Halloween theme going, like nightmare defense, change it up. Like there we go. I like that nightmare.
Free marketing advice here. Yeah. The nightmare weekend.
That would be sick. Yeah, that would actually be sick because you could probably throw in like a couple other like random sporting events and be like, just have the whole weekend. Just call it the nightmare. Like, I'm all in on this now.
Nightmare on what's the street?
Elm Street.
The stadium's on.
Oh, I know Nightmare on. Street. Isn't it like Stadium Way or something?
Freelandhausen Road.
Scarlet Night Way.
Nightmare on Scarlet Night Way.
What's the River Road? Nightmare on River Road.
Whoa, that's sick. Yo, Nightmare on River Road. Rutgers marketing staff, you're welcome. You can take that. No licensing needed.
Yeah, PJ.
Nightmare on River Road is sick.
Take it over. That would be insane. That weekend, Halloween weekend. Yeah. They gotta buy more into this stuff. Like the boardwalk. I know it was like, don't do just like the normal boardwalk with like a couple costumes. Like it's Halloween night. Like you gotta get crazy. You gotta have like a walk through the rock in like terror hallway or something.
Yeah, gotta have ritual sacrifices in the blue lot. Just you
gotta Jesus.
Super dark.
Yeah, that's how like. Do you ever have those like things like went back in like high school as like haunted hallways?
Yeah.
You just like you walk through the haunted hallway and it's just like Chris Ash and Eddie Jordan. It's like get away.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Rutgers 2015 also said even if it's Howard, just worried about losing the extra game reps.
I'm going through my head with all this. It's the ghost of Andy Boo.
Andy Boo.
Oh my god, it's Jay Neiman. There's so many bad situations there.
Jason O said Nightmare on Stephen Road. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I forget. Stephen Road's the other one. Yeah. No, River Road would be wild. That's
that just rolls off the tongue so well.
Oh my god. Free marketing, man. Crazy. But what else we got? Basketball? Technically?
Basketball today. We're playing Maryland shortly. Our boy Alec is down in College Park to watch the I think it's the second to last game of the season, right, for the Scarlet Knights?
Correct. They will play Penn State at home to wrap it up next Sunday, I think. Yeah.
Yep. That's a long time between games, damn.
Yeah. They kind of have to win today if win one of these last two, I should say, if they want to get that first round bye in the Big Ten tournament. I think Penn State beat Iowa yesterday.
They also play at Michigan State this week on Thursday.
Well, I'm just going to say that's going to be
a bullet bat.
I think Penn State just beat Iowa yesterday on free throws.
They did.
Which is not a good sign for Rutgers. I didn't think Penn State was going to win another game, to be honest.
No, I didn't either.
But who knows? If they lose today, I think their chances drop below. Right now, I think they're at 49% to get a bye in the first round. If they don't, it's even worse. Even if they do, I think a lot of people on both the team and the fan base are just kind of like, even the media, I think it's just like, let's just get this over with. Let's get it done with. Women's lost their final game yesterday too. I believe Alec.
Speaking about getting it over with.
Yeah, that's I don't understand it. We talked about it on the boards. Alex heard it too from multiple people. There's about a 20% chance that she's let go, and that's crazy to me. Like I just don't think you can justify it. I think the other programs, yes, you could say like, hey, Greg didn't have money. Look what he did without money. Hey, okay, Pikiell didn't have money, but look what he did in the past. Like they bought themselves some goodwill. That they at least get even Pikiell, like he at least gets a chance next season. He's probably going to get like.
They've shown enough as coaches at Rutgers that they can be successful. Let's see what they can do with some money. I totally agree. The Kokui situation not the same whatsoever.
He's a bad hire to begin with, just because she stunk at Penn State. She got fired at Penn State. You can't go hire the coach that got fired at a Big Ten program. Like, that's
a bad Big Ten program.
Yeah, like women's basketball, and they're about to fire their coach too. Yep. So it's an interesting market. I'm curious what they would even do, who they would go after. I know we got a couple things ready to go in case it does, but there's some names out there.
And Steve Politi had an article that came out this morning talking about how it's time and it's going to be Kelly Zinn's first big test as an administrator at Rutgers to see like kind of what her decision is and what her thought process is. And I kind of agree that, it'll kind of show her hand as to what she's thinking, because the buyout, I believe, is $1.6 million, which, Rutgers paid more than that for multiple coaches that they've let go on football this past offseason, which, football is the main moneymaker, so you got to spend more money there. But, I mean, just with how this program's kind of fallen apart, like last night or yesterday afternoon, whenever the Nebraska game was, Nebraska is like as average of a women's basketball program as you can get in the Big Ten. Rutgers lost by 41 points. They had players getting like double technicals thrown out of the game, like
back-to-back flagrant fouls.
Back-to-back flagrant fouls. They've lost 11 straight. They've won one conference game this year. I think they've gone 6-48 or something crazy like that the last 3 years in conference. Like, it's just time.
The star player thing's the thing that stands out to me the most. You can't lose your star player. Okay, you lose them 1 year, sure. Okay, you lose them the next year. Okay, what the hell's going on? Like, you just keep losing your star players. Like,
yeah. So we'll see. I hope that there's a move that's made, but if not, it's kind of like it is about as what's that term? My brain isn't working right now. It's when you basically have it's a lame duck coach. It's about as a lame duck situation as you can get.
You gotta let her go. I just can't see any reason to keep her. It doesn't make sense to me.
Mark Greenberg asked, if Pike doesn't get us back to the tournament next year, should he be fired? I think it's all about kind of how next season goes. If, like, for example, if he goes like 17-14 and he has, I don't know, 6 one-score losses out of the 14, I think he needs to show significant improvement, first of all, in the on-court product.
Yeah.
Secondly, he has to show that philosophically he is with the times and he's not just like playing this caveman, smash our head into the wall type basketball. 3, he has to show that he can build a sensical roster with resources that, will be at least average in the Big Ten. If he's just like doing this grab bag crap that he's done the last few years, where he just like basically grabs anybody who is willing to come play for Rutgers for essentially no money, regardless of position, I don't think he can come back. If he shows significant improvement in those areas and money truly was the thing holding him back, I think he stays around. But it's a make or break year for Steve Pikiell in 26-27.
Most definitely. I don't think there's a set number of wins. You just got to show progress and stop getting blown out too. Yeah. There's just so many games where it's just a non-competitive, and maybe they fight back in the end and make it look better than it actually was. Like, who was the recent game they played actually? Was it Washington? They only lost by 7, but in reality, if you watch that game, like they were down 10 plus points the entire game. And then like towards the very end, it was like, okay, sure. Like they fought back a little bit, but like not enough to even make it close. Like, so I think it really depends on what it looks like and what the not record is, but like how competitive they are. You just got to show that you're making progress, and especially offensively. Like they are 362nd in the country in terms of average 2-point attempt distance.
Wow.
That means they're taking the worst percentage shots in the game at the highest rate. Like they're what, 364 teams, 365 teams? Like that's insane. And then they're 331st in 2-point percentage. Like, stop taking them if you're not going to make them. Like, it drives me nuts. Like we post a shot chart like every game, and it's just like you look at it every time, and it's just like there's so many empty circles in the middle of the fucking like paint and in the top of the cylinder, elbow, whatever. Like it's just they're the worst percentage shots, and they just continue to take them over and over and over and over again.
It's tough to watch.
I'm at the point where I hate watching them. I hate watching bad basketball. Like even last year, like I know they didn't play defense at all, but like it's fun offense. Offense drives the sport. You saw Izzo and Hurley talk about how important offense is. He goes, I don't give a shit if we give up 80 points. And I think that was the exact quote. He goes, if I score 100, we win. Doesn't matter. And I'm like,
yeah, but last year it's not like they changed philosophy. They let the guys kind of do whatever they wanted last year in terms of, all we're doing is sitting high pick and rolls or high screens and just trying to get an open shot for like an individual guy off the dribble. And like we took a ton of mid-range shots last year. We just happened to have Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey taking those shots last year. Now we have Tyreek Francis and J Mike taking those shots. So
you're right. It was 316 last year in 2-point distance. This year it's 362.
So
it's got worse.
Philosophically, there is no difference. It's just we had 2 NBA players taking those shots last year, and now we have 2 guys who are going to be lucky to be playing in Thailand in 2 years.
Yep.
But I think that's all we got. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank our sponsor, FanDuel, for supporting us once again. We'll be back with you guys, I'm sure, later this week with news that inevitably always drops. Richie already talked about, if you're not a member on the boards already, not sure what you're waiting for at this point. This is the time of year where things start to heat back up. Spring football practice is right around the corner. Happy March to everybody. The thawing has finally started. We saw a beautiful day yesterday. Looks like we're going to get a few more of those. Daylight savings is next weekend. There's just a lot of things to be excited about as we kind of come out of this really awful winter.
Very simple. See? Done. There you go.
Boom. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you're listening on your favorite podcasting app, and if you're not following us there already, you gotta hop on. It is time. I think we've earned that at this point. And if you're listening on YouTube or watching us on YouTube and you're not subscribed there either, gotta hop on the train. It's the easiest thing you can do to support the show. But thanks everybody for listening once again. For me, for Richie, this has been another edition of the Night Report podcast. Signing off.